Good day, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hope you're all feeling groovy, realizing the government doesn't love you, and also realizing that pretty much everything you've been told since the day you were born is a lie. It is July the 6th of 2025, 8:36 a.m. Mr. Buzz coming to you from the communist shithole known as Ontario, Canada. And this video I'm about to make, I made probably a couple years ago, I guess. And it was a really popular video. People really enjoyed it for some reason. I'm not even sure what it was about it, but I don't remember exactly what I said in the other one, but I'm going to do the same topic. The releasing of the monsters. It's not a happy topic. Again, I know the topics I've been covering lately are pretty dark and depressing, and this one is no different. This is something that a lot of you might say, yep, he's crazy, that's not going to happen at all, that's ridiculous. And others will say, I see this coming. So, what do I mean by the releasing of the monsters? Well, the first thing to say about it is one must realize the people who are in charge of CERN and DARPA and, these organizations and in CERN it's a machine, it's a Hadron Collider. These people who run these things are true psychopaths in every sense of the word. Okay, they're not regular people. They're demon-infested, psychotic, crazy, evil demons. They're demons and worse. They're far worse than anybody can actually grasp. The only way to get a kind of an idea and a grasp on it is to do some studying of, like, Aleister Crowley. That will tell you, when you read his stuff and you see how depraved he was and how he described the more depraved you could be, the better off it was. Because, the gates of hell, the depths of hell will be very impressed with you. If you can be very depraved, sick, demented, disgusting, as bad as you can be. That's what his goal was. And that's what he taught other people to do. So, these people, the purpose of CERN is to literally open the gates of hell. And that's not an exaggeration, that's literally the truth. Their goal is to open up the gates of hell and release the monsters, real monsters, multidimensional beings that dwell in the depths of hell and don't normally have access to this physical realm. They're trying to give them access. And I think they've already done that in some cases. I don't know if they've fully opened the gates of hell, but they have definitely let things in to this realm that shouldn't be here, that weren't meant to be here, and that are going to be even more than they bargained for. They think, throughout history, these black magicians have always thought they could control these beings that they unleash. They always find out they can't. They're no match for these things because they're humans, and humans are nothing that way. Through Jesus Christ, we can have power and defend against them and battle them and the whole bit. But just a regular human who doesn't have Jesus on his side, he's nothing against these things. They will eat you for breakfast if you don't have Jesus in your life. That's totally true. But these arrogant people think they can keep control over these things after they unleash them. Now, that's just what they're unleashing from the depths of hell. Then we have a bunch more monsters that they've created themselves. And if it's true, I don't know if it is, but there's been a lot of talk over the last decade or so about some giant spiders that were found in Antarctica, said to be frozen in the ice, and when they thawed them out, they came to life. They were still alive. They were just sort of in some sort of suspended animation state because they were frozen in the ice, and it preserved them and kept them going. They came to life as soon as they thawed them out. This is what's said. I can't confirm that's true, of course. Haven't seen these things. Then there was something called the Montauk Project. And the Montauk Project ended abruptly because there was some disaster happened. No one's ever really fully gotten to the bottom of it. But monsters. They were creating monsters and opening portals and all the same stuff I'm talking about. The Montauk Project. That was, I think, in the 60s or something. There's a place called Plum Island where a lot of this craziness was going on, and there's apparently been things washed up on the shore that there's no record of these things existing at all. They're monsters that they create. Now, I used to spend a lot of time around real occultists, okay, especially online. I was accepted into a group of magicians back when I was doing the same thing. I was a shaman, a practicing shaman. I'm no longer that. I gave that up years ago. Turned to Jesus Christ instead, which is the way to go, believe me. But I used to spend a lot of time talking to these occultists, and they were the real deal. One of them was actually just starting, he was being offered the leadership position in a chapter of the Golden Dawn. So these weren't nobodies in the occult world. This one guy in particular was really high up, and a member of the Golden Dawn. He was about to take over his own chapter. That's big in the occult world. And he's the one who told me probably the most of anybody. I haven't talked to him many years now, but I wouldn't even talk about this stuff for a long time because I figured he was probably still lurking around watching to see if I was going to spill the beans on things he told me. But anyway, according to him, they basically have a whole bunch of monsters that are, as Crowley would say, bricked up somewhere. My guess is underground, in underground military bases, chained up down there somewhere, or in vaults, or who knows what they're in. But they have this major stock, according to him, of creatures that nobody in this world will want to meet. And there's a time when they plan on releasing them into the world. Things so vile that they're even afraid of them themselves. But like I say, they're crazy, depraved, and evil, and they think they're arrogant mostly. That's the main characteristic they have, is arrogance. And they think they can control these things. And they think it's going to be enjoyable to watch all these monsters terrorize the world. That's not going to go so well for them, I promise you. But that's how sick and depraved these people are. CERN is very closely connected with Shiva, who is the destroyer in Hinduism. Okay, they have Brahma, who is the creator. They have Vishnu, who is basically the preserver, the maintainer. And Shiva, who is the destroyer, to complete the cycle. Okay? Shiva, in Hinduism, does a dance, the dance of Shiva. And it's a destructive dance, obviously, because he is the destroyer. That's what he does. I believe these gods they speak of are fallen angels. That's always been my belief. But, that's a matter of opinion. But out at CERN, guess what they do? They do the dance of Shiva. That's a pretty weird thing to do at a big research place that's supposed to be all about science. The employees literally do the dance of Shiva. You can see that on YouTube. Look up CERN, the dance of Shiva. You'll see them doing it. It's a particular dance that you have to learn for Hindus, right? For people who are devotees of Shiva. Which I literally once was years ago when I was into crazy stuff. So there's something really weird about CERN, for sure. Why are they doing the dance of Shiva? That's all about destruction, complete destruction. That's what Shiva represents, destruction. So there's definitely some weird stuff going on at CERN. Possibility of giant spiders. I actually believe in the giant spiders. I think they're probably real. And possibly even the giants that are spoken of in the Bible, some of them might still be alive. I don't know. There's a story about when they battled in Afghanistan, and I think it killed, according to the people who were there, killed 7 soldiers or something before they took it down. And it wasn't easy to take down because it was like massive, like 20-some feet tall or something. Great big creature with red hair and a red beard, just like all the native stories say. That's what they say they found in Afghanistan, in a cave. I'm not sure what kind of lovely monsters are going to be released, but I know for sure that these crazy lunatics have plans of releasing a bunch of nasty stuff. Now then we have in Miami, in a mall, probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this very weird thing happened where a bunch of, I guess they were teenagers, had this box and it made this siren sound and a portal opened up above it. This is right in the mall in front of tons and tons of people. Hundreds of people saw this. And through that portal came these 10-foot tall, translucent creatures, whatever they were. People were, this is in the States, so people had guns on them. Some people shot at them. The bullets went right through them. Were they holograms? I don't know. It sure freaked a lot of people out. So that's got CIA written all over it. That's who's doing this stuff, is the CIA and all the intelligence agencies, Scientologists. These are the lunatics. There's still people who practice Thelema, which is Aleister Crowley's religion that he started. There are still people who call themselves Thelemites, or however you say it, people who practice Thelema. And the whole point of Thelema is to be as depraved as you possibly can, and to invoke the nastiest creatures imaginable. That was part of Crowley's teaching, was how to invoke very dark creatures. The releasing of the monsters. If these people get their way, there's going to be some things released into this world, and already has been. The Babylon working, that's another one. The Babylon working apparently opened up a portal and let a whole bunch of stuff into this realm. So when people are seeing things, or they're seeing things in the sky, they're seeing these multidimensional creatures, there's been sightings like that all over the world. Most people believe it's things like the Babylon working and things they've already done. Crowley went out with this one guy into the desert, and they stayed back there for days and just did this ritual. Took a long time to do it, took days and days. Crowley's friend ended up completely insane from it. Like, totally mad. He had to go to a mental institution. That was the end of him. He was done. Crowley came out of it unscathed. Crowley was literally from the depths of hell himself, so I guess he's resilient when it comes to that stuff. Or was. So, might sound crazy to you, but I spent a lot of time around occultists, and not only the one talked about this, several of them talked about this, but the one really went in depth about it. He told me that he'd even seen some things, some creatures he was shown that existed that blew his mind, that they've got bricked up. That's how he put it, because that's how Crowley used to put it. Boleskine House. There's the house that Crowley bought to do a ritual called the Abramelin ritual. And a lot of people believe that the Loch Ness monster that everybody keeps seeing all the time, well, not all the time, but there's been many sightings of it over the years and photos taken of something in the water. A lot of people believe that that's something Crowley invoked doing that ritual, which he never finished. That house burned down, actually. That house has quite a story about it, but that's where Crowley said he left things bricked up. And I think the fire destroyed all that, so there's nothing bricked up there now, but the Loch Ness monster, whatever that is in the water, I'm calling this video the releasing of the monsters, I think that's one of them right there. That's a wild-looking, whatever it is, that they call her Nessie. Nessie, yeah. Nessie, all right. I don't think you'd want to get real close to that thing, whatever it is. So that is what I think about the releasing of the monsters. There's going to be a time when you want to stay inside and lock your doors and windows and pray, pray, pray. Because these crazy lunatics have this desire to open the pits of hell and release the most vile things that they can possibly invoke. And you can believe what you want or not believe this. It's I'm not saying I can confirm any of it, but I feel it in my bones that these psychopaths are indeed capable of doing just what I said. So stay close to Jesus, everybody, because he is the way, the truth, and the life.